Awesome. So I had to come on StreamYard. StreamYard. I think, oh yeah, it says over there. Duh. I think sometimes YouTube just doesn't work lately. I had a lot of time to think about this message because it came to me in the car. My radio is broken, so I don't have any other distractions. And I was starting to think about the relationship between the Jews, the Muslims, and the Christians because I have a lot of experience like in these realms. Like I've been really heavily involved in like a cult of Jews several times over. I've been heavily involved in groups of Christians and heavily involved in groups of Muslims. And there's a familial dynamic, so really involved in the culture. So I get to really see what goes on. And I just began thinking about just it's like a power vacuum when like the Jews and the Christians are fighting, there's a power vacuum, and then there's like the Muslims. When the Christians and Muslims are fighting, there's like a power vacuum, and then the satanic Jews. And I mean satanic. It's like anything that takes advantage when there's a power vacuum creates a satanic inversion of that religion. So when the Jews and the Christians are fighting, this power vacuum, satanic Muslim. Muslims and Jews are fighting, power vacuum, satanic Christian. That's how we have the satanic Christianity in America, because over in Israel, it's all the fighting between the Jews and the Muslims. So I was kind of thinking about this weird sacred geometry between the Jews, the Muslims, and the Christians. And then I was kind of brought to the scenario of like, I believe that my dog was sacrificed. It was something that wouldn't have been easy for any ordinary person to do. She's a really big dog to, like, take her, hold her, and then kill her. It was, like, kind of like it seems like, if you don't mind me saying, like, an operation of some kind. Someone took her collar. She didn't really have she wasn't banged up or anything, and I found her pretty fresh. So she was still alive for a week, and she was 7 miles away. Um, and with the like abduction of the dog, I believe Travis County had something to do with it. This is religious government. They don't like me because I go after child trafficking in the area. I've been fighting these stupid religious people, mostly Jews, satanic Jews, like since I've been in Austin, basically. It's just all these weird religious satanic don't even realize it. It's like I realize that people don't adopt any one religion. They just kind of like get power where they can, and then they just might not realize they are aligned to this, that, or the other thing. So I think people need to figure themselves out very quickly because, you might think that you're whatever, but you might be actually something else, falling victim to something else, right? We're going to clean house in a sense. So anyways, it's all just like religiosity. So with the abduction and the murder of the dog, I have choices to make what I believe happened, right? So I have the story that the Holy Spirit helped me piece together with the community of thousands of people online and around me. I have like the story from the Holy Spirit. Okay, these are the facts. This is what there are facts, and then this is sort of what we kind of gathered happened. Like, I'm gonna tie in what I'm saying. This is very important, so please stay tuned. So then, in the like religious sense, it's okay. Well, then, what do you believe? So Satanists believe this is an eye for an eye. So anyone can look at this scenario and they can depict based on their religiosity what they want to believe. If you believe eye for an eye, like I fucked them, so they fuck me, that's satanic. The Jews or the Luciferians, they believe life comes out of death. This is why they sacrifice their firstborns. This is why I was just at Cosmic Coffee. So I was in like I was trying to like be with the Jews this morning, just checking in to see like where they're at. It's really good, don't get me wrong. Really, really good development in the sense of like love and everything going on. And at the same time, there's just like historically some things I don't agree with. Sacrificing the firstborn, life out of death. And I go to Cosmic Coffee, there is a memorial for a 3-year-old boy, and the last name is Couch. Okay, these people give themselves weird last names because they're actually connected to families that want to maintain some kind of anonymity, but it's almost like a mockery because then they choose names like Stamp, White, Couch, Stuffings, like stupid. So it's almost like a mockery. Like if you really believe this is my last name, then I guess you're prey and we're predators. They're predators. And they do weird shit like sacrifice their own fucking kids because in the Luciferian belief, they believe life comes out of death. So when I see a memorial for a 3-year-old boy with a very strange last name like Couch, Sofa Couch, no, I'm not going to sit and be in despair. I'm just sick of the religiosity of these Luciferian Jews. Life out of death. Okay? They believe life comes out of death. And there's truth to all of these death cults because the people that believe it make it true in our reality. So, Satanists, eye for an eye, Luciferian Jews, life comes out of death. Christians are like, well, you'll be reunited with your dog in heaven someday. And that's really nice. And I'm biologically Christian, so that's mostly what I would adopt. But also, then that means I have to leave my loved ones in this world. See, it's like, again, it's like still a freaking death cult. Oh, you'll see your dog someday when you die. Okay, so I have to leave everyone I love to go and be with my dog who was sacrificed for these other people's religious views. No, I'm not accepting this. The whole thing I'm trying to tell you is I'm accepting none of this. And this is why the sacrifice of the dog was a fuck up. Because I hate religiosity. Because I subscribe to none of it. Because you guys are all in death cults. And I'm not saying like I'm condemning or criticizing. We need to think bigger. We need to think future. We need to think bridging the gap between heaven and earth. Because that's the future. All this religiosity is keeping us like in a slow, weird time loop. The future is none of the death cults, none of the separation by death, and none of your separations by your religions and your inner fighting. And I'm just like living it. I'm living it out. Also, satanic Christians will say like, oh, you must have been living in sin and this is why this shit happens to you. There was like some stupid lady on Nextdoor. Somebody had like a dog go missing and she had commented like, I've lived 50 years of my life and I have never lost a child or a dog. This is just pure stupidity. Right? It's just like the ignorance of people. It's like they believe that when things happen to people, it's out of their own stupidity, and they prize themselves for never having lost or never having problems. But the problem, or the thing is, maybe you never have problems because you're actually a non-player character. You're just Satan's random character generator automaton, and that's why nothing bad ever happens to you, because this world is not, it's like they're just NPCs and they say really stupid, ignorant, awful things like this. And then the Muslims are basically like the recycling for like everything else. So again, power vacuum, everyone's fighting over their religious beliefs. The Muslims have a power vacuum. They're going to say, well, we believe that, shit just happens, basically. Like things just happen. This is a part of life. Death is a part of life, and, welcome. It's almost like Islam is not really like a religion. It's more so kind of like, it's like the underbelly of everything that like Jews and Christians like lack. They're like, oh, you don't like that? Well, like come with us. And then it's actually indentured servitude disguised as a religion. So the indentured servitude is like then all these people operate harmoniously with their cult of Islam. But the problem is they don't have any protection from evil because they're not taught Christian values in the Bible. And then, I think they're generally impoverished because they don't have, the Jewish values that, Jews are obsessed with money and all that influence that the Jews have. So, this is the problem with Muslims. They're basically like just everything else, like just come join us, join our family. But there's just a bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing in every religion, but like in Islam, because like they're not taught that people are evil. Like they just run around like everyone's good. I mean, I might have more to learn, but this is my experience with Muslims, is they're just like, everyone's my friend, and but they also like believe in like the one God. So they I think deep down it's like they're like, the more positively aligned Muslims are like, well, God's going to figure it out anyway, right? So, but in the meantime, it's very stressful for me because it's like I'm still around all these people that I love that have like religiosity spirits. I mean, just spirits. And they're biologically Jewish, biologically Muslim. I'm biologically Christian. And then I'm just like analyzing all the differences. And then, if you put it all in the scenario with the dog, it's like, it was like an opportunity for me to see like where I stand. Like, where does Lauren Pritchard stand? I fucking hate all religion. I hate all of your religions. I hate every explanation. And it's God's will. You know what I mean? So I think God's will is to kind of bring this revelation of like, people need to think bigger here. Okay? Like, going forward, people need to think bigger. I welcome the Antichrist to get people to sort themselves out. I welcome the rapture of Jesus Christ in the church, and I welcome the Antichrist. That's, the mark of the beast. People need to sort themselves out because we can't continue on with all our differences, divisions, beliefs, all this reality, this conflicting reality that people are creating with their thoughts and their beliefs. And it's just, you guys are all just in one big death call, and you might not have ever thought about it until now. We need to think bigger, future focus. The Bible ends at some point. I'm talking about what comes after, right? A new heaven and a new earth. Religiosity is anything that separates heaven and earth. So there's all these scenarios I'm presented with, in regards to death and the dog. And then and then like my conclusion is, guess what? Like, none of those. Like, whoever killed my dog, you better have cloned her and she'll be returned in this life. I don't want to have to die to go be with her. I don't want to leave my loved ones behind to be with my dog, but I also want my dog back. My dog didn't have to die for your religious beliefs. My dog didn't have to die for your experiment. And I believe it's God's will to bring me to this conclusion about it all. So there you have it. Oh, what's up, Michael? He says, I think this is Michael. I hope this isn't like a spam account because I don't know if you noticed. I think someone created a spam account under your name on TikTok, but they didn't really post anything. Maybe it was you. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, protective of your situation. So I'm like, I think this is a spam account and I'm going to tell Michael. Thank God people are coming to start making the Bible a greater priority. I mean, I think the greater truth lies within Jesus Christ because the covenant with Christ is with Jesus Christ, right? The covenant to bridge heaven and earth was made with Jesus Christ. So the Antichrist comes to do everything that Jesus Christ won't do, right? The covenant with Jesus Christ was life after death, was heaven on earth, okay? And then the Antichrist comes to do all the dirty work that Jesus wouldn't do, to kill, steal, and destroy. I mean, it's like kind of like Luciferian satanic, but it's also like, okay, if people can't get the wits about them, then guess what? They gotta go, right? They gotta go. We gotta clean sweep. We gotta start over. We need Apollyon. We need the apocalypse. We need Armageddon. This is the Antichrist because Jesus was not the God to do it. God in the flesh was not the one to do it. He made the covenant, and now comes Apollyon Armageddon. All right, well, that's that. You're the right kind of people. Love y'all so much. Have a beautiful night. I'll talk to you really soon.